Cherry, C07652, sir. Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. That right there is how you finna answer them COs when it's count time, when they want to know who you are. That is how you identify yourself. And me, myself, Jacob Cherry, C07652. That is my DC number. My alias is Killer Shine. So if you go on the Florida Department of Corrections, you type in Killer Shine where it says last name, your boy gonna pop up. Listen, I never put out my name, I never put out my DC number, none of that in none of my previous videos, because I always felt like, oh, we want verification, we want proof. Listen, you're not finna run down on me and ask me for my paperwork in prison. You're not finna run down on me and ask me about my paperwork outside of prison, period. My name A1. I done brought people on here, verified everything that I spoke on. But today, I went out of my way for y'all. I didn't know I could do this. I actually emailed the Florida Department of Corrections. Yes, me. I emailed them off my own personal email. And they got back to me. What I did for y'all is I requested, you see how thick that is? You see all this paperwork? I requested my disciplinary reports from the entire time I've been in prison. So every little thing that I did in prison against the rules, infractions, whatever you want to call them, this is that. This is that gold mine for y'all. Just to let y'all know everything I did get caught for inside of the Department of Corrections. So, let's start it off. First piece of paperwork here, it's just going to tell you my name, my DC number, my overall term was 3 years, my release date 7/1/15, my birth, obviously, you know, Massachusetts, birthplace. We've been over this. Green eyes for y'all that didn't know. And let's see. As far as every single violation that I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I had 11 disciplinary reports while in prison, the Department of Corrections. I mean, that's not too bad. That isn't nothing too crazy. You know what I'm saying? And they got the locations of every prison that I, got into it. Sumter CI, Lancaster from the work camp to the main compound, and Appalachia East Unit, which is the main compound. I never hit the work camp at Appalachia. I was closed custody. So boom, let's get into the first one. See what I did, y'all. All right. So, at approximately 3:53 during a mass search in C-Dorm, while operating the X-ray machine, the CO observed a homemade weapon approximately 6 inches long in a mattress that belonged to me, myself, and I. Now, I was being advised that I was charged with possession of or manufacture of weapons, ammunition, or explosives. Yeah, just like that blew y'all mind. That blew my mind when I read this. I was like, what did y'all find? A bomb in my mattress? So listen, when this happened, this was C-Dorm. This was the orientation dorm at Sumter CI. This is when I first went to prison. Mind you, 2 weeks before I hit this compound, the Bloods that were in C-Dorm, they all got flipped. They got fired up. They got cut. Everybody got hit up. I got put in here. The head Zoe of the whole Sumter was in this dorm. Not only that, he was only a couple bunks away from me. So me being me, I'm thinking I'm going to get something and I'm going to hit him up. Like, what's a better way to make a name than to take out the biggest name for the Zoes? You know what I'm saying? So what it was is I had probably like a 3, maybe a 4-inch nail. And I made, it was a thick nail. It was a good thick size nail. It wasn't nothing small. And I made a homemade poker with it. And I had nowhere to put it. I didn't know the dorm. Obviously, I was new inside of this dorm. I didn't want to put it in a place where someone could find it. Now I don't have any weapons. So I stuffed it in my bunk. Biggest mistake. I also had a razor at the time. So when they came in the dorm to flip everything, I'm trying to feel into the mattress to see where the poker's at so I can, try to toss it or whatever. Couldn't do it. We all had to line up. I got my mat rolled up in a ball. I spit out the razor. The COs didn't hear it drop. Bada bing, bada boom. They found the poker. Now, they only say it was 6 inches because they measure the handle as well as the weapon, but it was only like a 3-4 inch nail. Wasn't nothing too serious. It wouldn't have killed anybody. For that, 60 days in confinement. Let's go to DI number 2. Now, as the sergeant was conducting a cell search of my cell in confinement while I'm serving the 60 days for the poker, I was in the cell by myself. In the space in between the head of the bunk and the wall, he discovered a 20 feet, a 20-foot fishing line. The fishing line was fabricated from a torn sheet. I was advised I was getting a DI for destruction of state property, and I guess they charged me $3.95. I didn't voluntarily pay that. I don't know if they took it out of my canteen because I know I didn't give anyone $3.95. Listen, I actually remember this DI. I was moved into this cell. I had no idea there was a fishing line in this cell. They randomly searched it. I got hit with another 60 days. I had nothing to do with this. Did I make a fishing line after this? Yes, because I needed to fish. Fishing is basically when you take string from the mattress, or you can take sheet from, your sheets, where you can just rip it into a line. You'll take, whether it is a piece of soap or an empty toothpaste container, and you basically tie it on. You add a weight to it. The weight in this case would be the soap or the toothpaste container, and you tie your string, and you're able to fish that into other cells. Therefore, you're able to pass things cell to cell in confinement. That's fishing. So, yeah, boom. My 60 days just turned into 120 days in confinement. Let's see. This one here is at the Lancaster work camp. So, by this time, I was transferred to Lancaster. I turned 19 in August at Sumter CI. So, that was the cutoff age for Sumter. I was transferred over to Lancaster. Now, during the time I was transferred to Lancaster is where I actually got cut and everything, all that happened, you know what I mean? But I never received a disciplinary report for being cut because I didn't actually do anything. I was just cut. There was no PC. There was none of that. You go into AC confinement, and because I was already mid-transfer from Sumter to Lancaster, the investigation, it's over with once you get transferred, because there's no reason for you to be in confinement. You see what I'm saying? So once I hit Lancaster, I was let right back out. So boom, what did I do this time? Disciplinary report for refusing to participate in a mandatory program. The officer was assigned to our dorm, Romeo. That was the 18-19 dorm at the work camp. So it was the youngest dorm there. And let's see what I did. So the officer escorted the dorm outside to the physical training pad. At this time, inmate Cherry approached me with the PT pass. After reading the pass, I informed inmate Cherry that his pass had expired the day before. It expired on the 11th. It was the 12th. And that he must participate in the exercise program. Inmate Cherry stated that he could not participate. He would get another pass soon. He informed me I must, in which I did not comply. Listen, if y'all watch my videos, which 99% of y'all have, big shout out to y'all. This was the time when I got transferred to the work camp, and I got the surgery on my ingrown nails and fought the 2 kids the same exact day. This is around that time, so I had a pass because my nails were completely clipped. You know what I'm saying? It was bloody. They took skin off. It was nasty. My nails were clipped. I couldn't. How am I going to get in push-up position and balance on my toes? It's not going to happen. These COs, though, they don't care. So, I showed the CO, look at my feet. They're still wrapped up. I still have medication I'm supposed to take to fight off the infection. I'm still getting shots in my ass every other week to fight off this infection. He didn't care. He didn't want to hear it. Wanted me to PT. I refused. For this, I didn't go to confinement. I think they ended up just Yeah, I lost 15 days of game time. So that's how petty these COs are. What did I do this time? So this was at the Lancaster work camp. Roll call. All right. So around this time period, this is when I started hating the work camp. I got sick of the work camp. Like I said in my other videos, the work camp, it was just soft. It wasn't like the main unit. You had kids that were jizzles on the main unit that came over here and felt like they were tough now, like they could speak, because it wasn't as violent over here. It wasn't as political. It wasn't as popping. So you had a lot of soft kids that were just speaking up, and no one could really move on them how you wanted to, because you're gonna get caught. Just everyone's gonna tell on you, like you got snitches in here walking around like they're tough. So I mean, I bucked school one day. I didn't go to school. I didn't want to go to school. Another DI for that. It was stupid. You know what I'm saying? Now this DI, I was in B dorm B1. The funny thing about this whole DI is it didn't happen. Not how it's written. So this was when one of my brothers fired up a Zoe and took a chunk out of the back of his head. And in this case, this kid ran up and hit me with a brick. He had the brick in a sock, fired me up. I had just woke up. I had just sat up while he was coming at me. Get hit in the back of the head with the brick. The brick breaks, so I got pieces of brick all, because I got a big ass head, you know what I mean? I got pieces of brick all over my bunk. And yeah, I mean, I went to stand up. My brother's telling me don't stand up. If the guy comes in, he crashed me. I didn't do anything back. I should be good to go. I can stay in the dorm, and then I'm going to be able to go and cut one of these Zoes. You know what I mean? Because this kid did it in front of the CO's booth. My bunk was next to the water fountain in B1. So I'm right in front of the COs. So it was like a gangster check-in move, you know what I mean? And everything that's blocked out in red is what I personally blocked out. I blocked out all the names of the officers, the teachers, and the inmates, just because there's no reason to put that out there. Everything that's blocked off in black was blocked off by the Department of Corrections. That's how it was emailed to me. So, yeah, they basically said that we were fighting each other. I had a rock in my hand. He had a sock and a lock. None of that was true. As you can see on the report, I had a 1.5 centimeter laceration to the left upper head. That was the back of my head. I didn't know I was bleeding. I didn't know I had a hole in my head until the CO came in. The CO who was working was actually one of the cool COs. And I tried to play it off. I showed him the other side of my head. He told me I had a decent hole in my head and I need to go. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a slice. It was like a hole in my head. And it took 3 stitches to close it. Wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I mean? But basically the whole DI was made up. They snatched someone else up. The kid that fired me up, he got beat in the back. And, they beat his face in good. The other kid got beat. And the other kid with the hole in his head, we all just went to confinement. So this whole DI was made up, and I actually ended up getting 60 days for this. Now, because of the fact that it was an assault on an inmate, I also got charged with a weapon. So this is basically the same DI, restating the same things. And, they gave me another 60 days for the weapon. So 60 days just turned into 120 days in confinement. Now, at this time, I'm in confinement for the 120 days for, me and that kid and the fake DI that they wrote up. What was happening was the sergeant told the officers not to feed me, not to give me any food on my trays. So that's when they were bucking me on my trays. They were dumping the food out beforehand and then trying to put an empty tray in my flap. So what I did is I started kicking the door down. As it states, at approximately 2:14, the sergeant was advised by the officer that inmate Cherry was creating a disturbance in Quad 4 by yelling and kicking on his cell door. Upon entering Quad 4, they observed me yelling and kicking on the door. All attempts at counseling with inmate Cherry were to no avail as he continued to yell and kick on the door. And then my actions continued until chemical agents were utilized. What does that mean? They gassed the shit out of me. They fired me up with a big can of gas, burnt the skin off my side. You know what I mean? They hit me up with that gas and they left me in there to choke for a little bit. My roommate broke it off. He ran to the door, started kicking the door. Sarge, please let me out. I didn't do nothing, Sarge. I'm choking. I can't breathe. Da, 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 da. So eventually they cuffed us up, put us in the showers. They got to record me while I'm in the shower. It's freezing cold. And, yeah, after that they fed me, though. I got my trays. I got my food. But, yeah, I'm going to kick this door down if you're not going to feed me anything. So I got the pot and the disturbance. DI for that there. Because of the fact that I didn't stop kicking the door down, I was also disobeying a verbal order. So I ended up getting another 60 days, 30 for each DI, just off kicking that door down and not stopping because they wouldn't feed me any food. Mind you, while this is happening, a nurse came by to give me psych medication because I had to get put back on psych medication to come back to the main unit, how I explained in another video. When that nurse came around, I asked that nurse, I said, "Nurse, do I need to eat food to take this medication?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Well, they're not serving me any food. They're refusing to give me food." The officer looked at her and said, "He's lying. Don't listen to him. Take your meds." I said, "I'm not taking any meds unless you give me food." What did the nurse do? Walked away. Didn't care. He shut the flap. So I went to kicking the door down, and then after that, I got gassed. All right, boom. At this time, we are now at Appalachia. So when I got fired up and all that happened, I ended up getting transferred with like 40 other people. It was a massive transfer. And it was basically just Bloods and Zoes that got transferred. They sent us all to different compounds. I went to Appalachia, East Unit, Main Unit, ACI, not the place you want to go. So, let's see what I did. While the officer was assigned at Q dorm, which was confinement, and conducting a security check, the officer observed me, myself, and another inmate striking each other about the blank. I don't know why they blanked it out, because if you go lower on this page, it just says the torso and the face. We were striking each other with closed fists. So basically, we were just fighting in the cell, and they came, they gassed us. It wasn't nothing too crazy, you know what I mean? It was just a simple fight. 30 days of confinement for the fight. And then because of the fact that we refused to stop fighting, when they told us to stop fighting, they gassed us. So this was my second time being gassed. But it was only the little can of gas. It wasn't the big, bear can of gas that hit me with the first time. So it really wasn't that bad. And I mean, they really got the other guy more than they got me. But, yeah. Now this DI, this is a funny one. This DI was around the time that I was going home. You know what I mean? It's only a few months away. I'm in class. This is my GED class. This is the class I was in with TK that you've all seen in my other videos, all of my Instagram. Yeah, me and TK had this class together. And the teacher of this class, he was a good guy. I'm not going to lie. He was a good guy. He was a religious man. He just wasn't with the bullshit, you know what I mean? But if you respected him, he showed respect 110%. And big salute to him, you know what I mean? He actually helped me get my GED. He was big on me staying focused on my schoolwork, and he was a part of me getting my high school diploma before I was released from prison. So, I got a lot of respect for him. But on this day, I didn't care. I didn't feel like being in school. I didn't want to be in school. I didn't want to hear nothing. So the teacher, while teaching the GED class, noticed me, of course, disrupting class. I mean, that was me throughout high school. That was me throughout middle school, elementary school. This is just me being me. Inmate Cherry continued to disrupt class, talking to many other inmates doing work in class. Teacher told me to step outside. He tried to counsel me, told me if I talked one more time, and he kept talking back to me, as I always do. Then he gave me the chance to go back in class with a direct order to be quiet and stop talking, in which I replied, "I am not going to stop talking." I mean, I was being an ass. You know what I mean? I didn't care. It wasn't that serious. And it's like, what are they gonna do? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go home regardless. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't really care at this point. So I was given a DI. I didn't go to confinement for this. I didn't even lose game time for this. I was put on like a probation period where I think if I got another DI, then I have to go to confinement or something. But it was a joke. It was a stupid DI. I didn't really care. So that is the list of all of my disciplinary reports from inside the Florida Department of Corrections. It's crazy because, as I've told you guys, I've hit people up in prison. I never got caught for anybody that I hit up. Either they didn't snitch or I just got away with it. The one time I actually do go to confinement for hitting someone up, it was a fake report. I actually got hit up myself. I didn't even get the other kid. But yeah, I mean, this is how I was in prison. I mean, this isn't that bad compared to other people. You know, I wasn't really getting caught doing crazy things. But if you pay attention to the pattern, I got the majority of my DIs in confinement. Confinement, once you're in it, is one of the hardest things to get out of. Because you just have days when you wake up like, you know what, I don't care. I'm stuck in this room. I need to get out of this room. I need to cause a scene. I want to kick the door down. I want to tell the nurse she got a fat ass. I want to tell the CO to go F himself. You just wake up and feel a certain way and you act on it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're literally sitting in a room 120 days or more with people that you don't like, with people that want to hit you up, with people that might try to cut you in your sleep or fight about food or whatever it is. There's just always a situation that presents itself. You know what I mean? And it's tough to deal with. And on top of that, imagine having the last name Cherry in prison. That is not easy. That is something that gets overlooked. You know what I mean? I take pride in my last name. When I hit the adult compound, I had to go hard. Why? Because you have gay feminine men that have female nicknames. When I hit the compound and people started hearing Cherry, especially booty bandits, they want to know who Cherry is. They're thinking Cherry is some flaming flamingo that's just running around the compound, you know what I mean, doing whatever fairies do. So I had to lay it out. When I was in confinement, they say my name. Someone be like, who's Cherry? I'm on the door like, hey, Cherry will kill you. What's up? What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't easy going through prison, especially the adult side with the last name Cherry and being a white boy. But, you know, I held it down. It is what it is. And, yeah, just a quick video on my little disciplinary reports. I'm sure if you pulled up somebody like TK or Brando's disciplinary reports, this video would have been like 3 hours. But I wasn't getting caught that much. I wasn't getting into too much, and just a lot of my stuff just came from being stupid or just not agreeing to go through stupidity. Like, I'm not going to PT while my toes are cut open. I'm not going to not eat because you don't want me to eat. I'm going to cause a disturbance and you're going to have to fire me up with that gas. It is what it is. But like I always say, I appreciate all y'all that's rocking with me. I'm rocking with y'all like y'all rocking with me. 1090J, big 500. I had to put it on the hat just in case you can't see the tattoo. You feel me? But hey, appreciate y'all, man. Till next time.